man. Let's clap it up right there. That's the theme right there for the new film. That's the official trailer for Sinners had to be.
I already know it.
Hey, man, check this out, man. I already saw the movie. I saw it way before it came out because I got
You're
plugged.
always bragging. See, I'm prepared for your extra today because I know it's Oakland. I know you're going to put extra bay on it. I know you're going to be extra ready, and I'm not ready for it, but I'm here for it.
Come on, man. You already know what it is. I know Mike Muse is back in New York, excited about this young man that we have here, Tracy G, as well, because of all the work he's done.
Facts.
You know, from Fruitvale Station, the Creed movies, the Marvel's Black Panther series.
Crazy.
I mean, this man has really Judas and the Black Messiah. I mean, this man has really put in. And I'm not even naming all of his accolades because he's sitting right in front of me, and we've had him on the show before. And that's not what he's about, in my opinion, about the awards, the nominations, all those things. He's about change and forward progressive thinking and creating projects that make us think. And this newest movie, Sinners, is definitely one that's going to make you think. And it's a history lesson in it as well. When you talk about our country, when you talk about the Jim Crow era, and when you talk about culture. Yeah. And I want to welcome him back to the show, man. This is my brother, Town Business. Stand up, Northern California. This is it. This is the nucleus of the creative space all around the globe. This is the creative mecca. When I talk about Oakland, California, and the Bay Area as in entirety, give it up for the one and only, the icon. I call him he's a Bay Area icon. Zenzi Coogler is in the building.
Well deserved, though. Well deserved intro. That was crazy.
I thank you, Sway, bro. You always looked out for me, bro. I appreciate you having me again. It's always an honor to come talk to you, bro. It's usually I gotta fly 3,000 miles. You know what I'm saying? This time I guess just an hour flight to come see you here in LA, bro. But it means the world, man. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you taking a look at the film early and spreading the word about it. You know, for me, I just wanted to make something that first and foremost, above all things, was a great time at the theater. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a time when we got a lot of distractions. It's a lot of money being spent for content on our phones and you know, very amazing things for you to watch at home. And I think since the pandemic, folks is getting out of the habit of going out on the weekends to the movies. Yeah. You know, so I wanted to make something that can get people out in theaters, man. We shot it on massive IMAX cameras so that we can put it on IMAX screens. Matter of fact, I brought you some.
You brought me some?
A little,
oh,
my
souvenir,
gosh.
bro. Oh, man, you brought me a souvenir, Tracy.
Oh, gosh.
The FOMO is strong. What is it, y'all?
What is that? What is that, Sway?
So that's a special edition. That's a special edition film print that folks are gonna get if they go see the movie opening weekend.
Beautiful.
At select IMAX theaters. That shows exactly how the film is going to be projected on film. Those are 3 frames from the movie. You can open it up, Sway. You know what I'm saying? Pop that open.
Don't mess it up either, putting your big thumbprints all over it all.
But why was it important to shoot the movie in IMAX in a 70mm format?
Yeah, man, it's the most immersive format that's ever been made for motion picture photography.
Oh wow!
And it's the first time that you know, a film from a black filmmaker is going to be projected on motion picture film.
Wow. Is this the first time?
Yeah, on motion picture film cameras, on motion picture on IMAX 15 perf 65mm film. Yes, it's only in 10 locations. You know, and Jordan Peele broke a lot of ground when he shot Nope. You know, on that format. But our film is going to be put out with film projections at 10 select theaters globally, and it's also going to be you know, at IMAX theaters nationwide. But it's only for 2 weeks. Okay. You know, so I wanted to put the word out for folks to if you want to see it in the format that it was intended to be seen in. You know, you got basically 2 weeks to see it before Thunderbolts, the Marvel movie, comes and gets those screens. You know, it'll still be available in all of the other formats too.
Right.
You know, after that,
but you only got 2 weeks to see it, huh?
In IMAX.
In that IMAX. Yeah, that's dope.
Yo, congratulations! Another first by an Oakland native, man. Come on.
Oh
man.
my gosh, it's about to be Oakland.
Come on, man.
Hey, Zenzi, what up, Zenzi?
Yeah. Zenzi here. She's not as talkative as I am, man. But you know, also born and raised in Oakland. She's from East Oakland. When I met her, she was living in North Oakland. But lived in the town our whole life, man. Was an athlete and now a film producer. She produced this movie. So actually her first time officially producing something that I directed.
Come on, Zenzi. I know you ain't gonna get on the camera. You ain't gonna wave to him, Zenzi.
Yeah.
They think I'm talking to nobody.
she here, bro.
She here,
man.
And that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Oh man, this is amazing. And man, congratulations, bro.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of you, man. And I want to say I'm honored as well. I'm not somebody who, because I've been around so long, too humble to say that. Sometimes you and I connect on text message, and man, Ryan will send me music and stuff and say,
yeah, that's dope though.
Ryan sends me music, be like, yo, you need to be up on this, check it out. And then he'll disappear for 2 months.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I know he's working and stuff. And even with this movie, I wrote you a review that I had of the movie, and I was a little nervous to write it to you.
No, it's all good.
It's okay, because it was it's such a multifaceted movie that taps into so many layers of our culture. And it by some, I told you that some of the things I was watching made me a little uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And I felt great about being uncomfortable. A movie hadn't made me uncomfortable in a long time.
Yeah.
And you tap into all of these different themes. One is the black church.
Yeah.
Right? And I wanted to ask you about that, the black church. Do your research. How do you feel like the black church has evolved since the Jim Crow era and its importance to now?
Man, that's just a great question, bro. I came up going to church. I went to a Baptist church in Oakland called the Good Shepherd Church. That's where I was baptized. That's where my parents got married. It's right there on Martin Luther King, right there in the heart of North Oakland. Man, it wasn't like what the church was in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? When I was going to it, it wasn't something that I had to research or think about. It was a part of my life. The music, man. I rapped in church, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like my godfather, Paran, rest in peace, man. Who passed away when I was young, but he used to run the music there, and he put the mic in my hand, man. Had me write a rap in church. You feel me? So I think church has come a long way from where it was in the 1930s, where our film takes place. And we really diving into the music. You know what I'm saying? Like how we got to the church is because I was trying to explore the Delta blues. Yeah. And you can't look at the Delta blues without looking at the church. Because so many of those musicians, like the 90s, came out of the church. Your Gladys Knights, your Whitney Houstons, your Luthers. You run the research on them. The first time they grabbed the mic was generally at their local church in front of the congregation. It was like, oh man, that girl can sing. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know,
that's how they got started.
Yeah, Aretha Franklin, all of it. Yeah,
exactly. Boom, they out of there. And it was always a conflict between church music and secular music. Like the first music to get called the devil's music was the Delta blues music. And there was also that dichotomy of, the same people who would be in that Juke joint Saturday night. They might go home, wash up, sleep for a couple hours, and take their ass right back to church in the morning. You know what I mean? And
the strip club of the day.
Exactly. And the pastor's saying, "Hey man, pass that offering around." And when they light, they say, "Yeah, you had enough to buy that beer last night, though, didn't you?" You know what I mean? Like that. So it was always a conflict over these two institutions. That basically had the same thing going on, and people was dealing with so much that they were looking for the same. They were looking for a little temporary release. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's spiritual on Sunday, maybe it's more carnal Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? But it is a necessary part of the human condition. In the blues music, coming out of Delta, it leaned into the shadow. You know what I'm saying? It leaned into like I said, the carnal desires. It leaned into the faults and the flaws. And it was a time where, where almost every vice was criminalized. You know what I'm saying? This was a time when alcohol was illegal, but people were still drinking. Yep. You know what I'm saying? This was a time when, like a lot of things were frowned upon. I was basically normal human behavior. You know what I'm saying? And what I also learned, bro, coming up in the 90s, we was products of gangster rap. You know what I'm saying? Like my daddy the same age as all them dudes. You feel me? Like, you know, your Too Shorts, you know what I'm saying, your Cubes, you know,
your Sways.
Yeah. I ain't gonna throw you in there, bro. but
I know you was about to.
You the same age as my daddy.
I mean, I came up, you know what I'm saying, but I came up, you know, like not even questioning it. That was my daddy's music was gangster rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was riding around with him, listening to "Let Me Ride" on tape cassette, and I had to rewind it for him while he was driving. You know what I'm saying? And to look back and realize that these Delta bluesmen were the first gangster rappers. You know what I'm saying? They were the first people who were judged due to their music and were questioned by the elders. You know what I'm saying? You know, like for me, you know, it was exhilarating making this movie, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, oh, this is the base for everything that we know now, not just as black people, but as, you know, global popular culture. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has followed in those guys' footsteps, like from the British invasion, from the Beatles, and you know, the Rolling Stones naming themselves after they music. You know, and you know, obviously Elvis, who was right there, that was his. You know, that's what he was playing. You know what I mean? If you grabbed Elvis and asked him, they say, hey, he the king of rock and roll, X, Y, and Z. They say, man, what you playing? He'll tell you, man, I'm playing blues music. You know what I mean? Like, and because he was white, they had to call it something different and manipulate that. So for me, man, like the studying of this music was you know, it was a study of what life is now. You know, from the church to popular culture, to what we think is cool, to fashion. You know what I'm saying? To what we drink, how we drink it. You know what I mean? Like you know, all of it. You know, it had that foundation there in that part of the world that folks often like to overlook.
They like to overlook it. That's why I say this, and I'm hip to what you're saying, right? So when I was watching the movie, I was like, man, this man is he's on his dean, he's on his square, right? You know, you giving a lot of information, even the jukebox culture.
Absolutely.
Right? And you could draw parallels, because when you watch this movie, you're going to see some beautiful cinematography, some beautiful scenes, and a beautiful portrayal of two smoking stack played by Michael B. Jordan, two black people who served in the military, and like many at that time, there was a wave of black entrepreneurship, right?
Absolutely.
That was below board, so to speak. So jukeboxes were being opened up, and that's how people made money when they sold the moonshine or whatever vendors they had at the jukebox, and it was our thing. And the jukebox, you know, culture was like a rest haven.
Yes.
Right? It was a safe place for us to go.
Where we could be our full human selves.
Yeah, right?
You know, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it was a place of it was a place where you gotta keep in mind, man, these people were sharecroppers, which was just a evolution of enslavement. You know what I mean? Like it was the closest thing to enslavement that could be done. You know, and you're talking about a place that was isolated. You know, from federal oversight, and you talking about a place of, like, I've seen these fields, bro. Like, I've seen Clarksdale, Mississippi, and the wealth that's in the land that's being denied to everybody but a few. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, you know. And so they working 7 days a week, bro. Backbreaking conditions. Some of these plantations were so massive and powerful that they printed their own currency. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they were big enough to have to print their own. Like they were like nation states. You know what I'm saying? And these people are living in the same. They living in the same quarters that they grandparents lived in. You know what I'm saying? And paying rent. You know, on this, and getting paid sometimes in script or sometimes in actual physical currency. You know, that's only able to be used on that. You know, on that plantation. And the Juke joint was a place, man, where for a few hours they could put on their finest clothes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go in there and not have to worry about who was watching them and who was looking at them. You know, and they can hear the best musicians on earth.
Yeah.
Playing just right there for them. You know what I'm saying? And get a little bit piece of respite. And that culture, man, that became nightclub culture.
That became nightclub culture.
You know what I mean? Like that
that's
became
the parallel, right?
Yeah, you know, like that. That's when you. I mean, we going to the. You know, how much music is about going to the club?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how much music is about, you know, living for the weekend. You know what I mean? How much is about that? And that's where it started. You know, so for me it was about, and it was also about, you know, us thinking about our great grandparents, bro, and like the fact that they were like us, stuck in that situation in that time. You know what I'm saying? You know, my great grandfather might have been a filmmaker if he could have been, or yours might have been a, you know what I'm saying, a internationally known radio DJ. You know what I'm saying. But because of circumstance, man, he in the field. You know what I'm saying? So he was probably the OG who's like, man, that dude can talk, man. He know a lot about everything. True, but they in the field with it. They don't have what, you know what I'm saying, they don't have the access that we have, because they had the luck of being born when they was born, you know. So for me, the movie was very much about that.
It was very. Can you talk about jukebox culture and run some parallels in the Bay? Like, you know, we used to party at Crosswinds, and you know, what was some of the partying that you did when you was coming up?
Man, bro. So I was in a cold era, bro, where it was something called Black Fridays and Black Saturdays.
Yeah.
And so you was there?
Yeah, man. Come on.
I mean, it was. So it was. When I was in high school. Keep it 100 with you, bro. It was a gift and a curse, because it's why I don't go out now.
Okay.
Because I'll never experience parties I was as live as those.
Yeah.
But also, bro, these parties was incredibly dangerous, man. Like they was unregulated, and we used to call a number, you know, like on Friday night, like after about 3 o'clock, you'll call this number, and the dude would leave a voicemail, and he'll give you directions on where the party was at. Because it was too dangerous for everybody to know for the whole week. Because, you know, it was so many, you know, it's 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
Bro, it's so many beefs, bro. Like every neighborhood is you know, every neighborhood is turning against each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody would go to these parties, bro, because there'd be so many girls there, bro. Like you knew it was gonna be that, but you also knew, you know, people was gonna end up shooting at each other before the night was over. You know.
You still gambled though.
You still went.
You still went, right?
I was still there, man, and I'm still here to talk about it, bro. But I had some close calls, in there, man, and all of that said, bro. Like, you know, it was certain, and keep it 100 with you, bro. It was certain songs, bro, that I still hear to this day, and they take me right back to being in them sweaty rooms, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for example, bro, it was because I was right before the crunk sound broke out of Atlanta.
Okay.
But because Too Short was living in Atlanta at the time, he was making music with them. That was getting ported back. So they got a song called "What You Gonna Do." That was Short and Lil Jon and Eastside Boys, bro.
Dig that up, DB. Let's take them back, man. See what happens.
I gotta hear that one.
Don't play that in the Bay, bro. It was a whole group of songs, bro, that were Atlanta songs that became our songs, like in the Bay, because of that unknown connection. You feel me? And another one was Big Cat LaFleur, the Gucci song.
The Gucci song.
Bro, you put that on in the Bay, bro. Party was over.
That's interesting you talk about that. We got Ryan Coogler here, man. We talking about the movie Sinners that's out in theaters April 18th. April 18th. We need everybody to bum rush to theaters April 18th. That's interesting you bring that up, because we was just having a conversation about the influence that the Bay had on crunk music, and Too Short and E40, you know, teaming up with Lil Jon. And
I mean, they was great ambassadors, bro. Like, cause you know the Bay had that hustle.
Yeah.
You know, so what I learned, bro, coming up, because our artists had such an entrepreneurial spirit, and they was kind of denied the LA airwaves and the New York airwaves.
That's true.
So they toured. So when I was playing football, bro, I would meet people from different parts of the obviously we knew 40 would go do baller blocking with Cash Money, and you know, he was tapped in. You'll see 40 in Louisiana and BG video or something. You know what I'm saying? And P being from, you know, he was both from New Orleans and Richmond.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was making
Master P.
Yeah, P was making West Coast Bad Boys albums, and right around the time I moved from Oakland to Richmond, people would still talk about P like he was there. You know what I'm saying? And going to high school with Silk and see Murder and knock somebody out or something. You know what I mean? Like you'll hear the you know, and Big Ed the Assassin, and they bought a bunch of warm up suits for El Cerrito basketball team. So you seen the remnants of No Limit in the Rich, you know, to know it was real. But it was a tie between New Orleans and Richmond, you know. And it was a tie between Oakland and Atlanta.
Yep.
But then I found out, bro, like growing up, I met a cat from Kansas City. It's right around the time when right before Mac Dre was murdered, rest in peace. But I met a cat from Kansas City who bro, all he listened to is Bay music. Like, and we in the locker room playing music, and he like, bro, these dudes would come see us. You know what I'm saying? Like the Thiz, Cash, and 40 and Short. So I'm like, damn, we got a Kansas City outpost, we got a Portland outpost in Seattle, and then I found out, bro, when I got close with Maverick Carter, and you know, we made Space Jam 2 with LeBron. Bro, I found out Akron, like, cause Al Pacino would make a bunch of, you know what I'm saying? I found out Akron was a big Bay outpost. Like, they listening to Bay Area rap, you know what I'm saying? You know, Kendrick coming up, I found out in Compton it was heavy, you know what I'm saying? Quick had that song, Oakland just like Compton.
Just like
Compton.
Compton.
You know what I mean?
Just like Compton.
So I would learn like because our artists were so entrepreneurial, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that we wasn't on the radio and it wasn't on Rap City and all of that, bro, because them dudes beat their feet. You know, we were still out there. You know what I mean? And through Hammer and you know with his run and Pac with his run, you know, when you bring the Bay up, it poke up the right ears. You know what I'm saying? And our sound, I learned that it was a global sound. You know what I'm saying? Which was just awesome, man. We going too deep now, bro.
No. It's a good lesson to learn because imagine, Ryan, me being on the East Coast, I knew none of this.
Yeah,
we were so centralized. Yeah, Trace, right? We didn't listen to it. We didn't. The radio, to your point, the DJs just didn't play it. But
y'all, that's not y'all fault, man. Like y'all center of the hip hop universe for like what 2-3 decades.
Yeah,
right.
So I think it made y'all not lazy, you know what I'm saying, but complacent. You know what I'm saying, and it was crazy to see because Atlanta was a center, like, you know, the South was a center of black music for centuries.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so New York had it for a little while, but it was a matter of time before they, you know,
absolutely.
before it was back down there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a lot of times, you know, we don't look at African American culture as a people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very, you know, we was taught to be very regional and have a regional mindset.
Yep.
But it's really a massive people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? With different you know, with different flavors and everything, but it's really the same thing. And that is what I realized as I got older and I traveled. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I'll never forget, bro. My first time out of the country at the Cannes Film Festival. Bro, I'm at the Cannes Film Festival, man, and one of my classmates, Miriam Bakabza, who was French, linked me up with our cousins. You know what I'm saying? These is white French people. You know, I'm staying on his couch. You know, so I can go to the film festival and everything. This 2009. Bro, he banging French rap. Like banging it, you know what I'm saying? And I can hear it's this dude named Raf.
Raf, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know
so
Raf.
He sounded exactly like Pac.
Yeah.
Like exactly like Pac. He's rapping like Pac in French.
And you can hear the influence.
Man, what? I'm from the Bay Area, bro. I sniff out Pac. You know what I'm saying?
Even in French.
I still believe, bro. No, I still believe like we were part of the reason why DMX and Ja was so big.
Yeah,
because we missed Pac and it was like, oh man, they kind of look like him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the energy.
He bald head with the hat with the shirt off. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, so I'm listening to this, bro. I'm like, man, who is this? I'm like, man, translate this for me. What is he saying? You feel me?
He was dope too.
And he got a song called K-Sauce, For Life.
And
he's saying For Life in English. Like, you know what I'm saying? He you know, and I'm listening, I'm like, man, God damn, French rap?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He like, hell yeah.
That's right.
Rough, I went in 2006, I went over, I took MTV to Paris, and I wanted to do a deep dive on Parisian hip hop. Rough took me to his neighborhood where he grew up.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, homie,
they call them the suburbs.
Yeah, they call it the suburbs.
It blew my mind.
Yeah,
but it's not.
Man.
So in Europe, when I touched down out there, bro, because I still had my dreads was probably down to my elbows then, and I'm walking around, and people was asking me if I was from the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? They say, hey, man, what you doing? You from the suburbs? I was in the city. And I'm like, man, what are they talking about? You know, like I could tell it's a racial interaction happening. But why are they saying the suburbs, which is the opposite of
the suburbs here?
Right.
the same thing here. So in Europe, it's actually reversed. Like, because they push, you know, impoverished people, and you know, first generation immigrants, and they push them out of the city. They don't want them in the city. You know, they make them commute. You know what I'm saying? And to work, you know, to be domestic workers and do the other blue collar jobs, and they make them commute back way out. So the suburbs there is what we would call the projects here. You know.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was rough, to say the least, and it was an artist named Booba at that time who was extremely huge, man. This is what I love about what you do, right? You walk away and you feel educated, and I thirst for knowledge, you know, and so I want to commend you for how you tell your stories, not just on film, but how you tell your stories verbally. When people see this film, man, one of the first things that blew my mind was the technology that was used, because Michael B. Jordan plays twins, right? And I thought it would take me a second to get used to him playing the brothers, but I told you on a text, it just took me one scene and I forgot he was the same person playing two different people. But you could have easily got another person to play Smoke or Stack, right? Why did you do it this way?
Yeah, it's funny, man. I always wrote them for Mike, you know, always, and they were always identical twins. You know, I have identical twin aunts. My mom's older sisters, my auntie Curlin and my auntie Merlin. And my auntie Curlin is my godmother, and they're completely identical. But us as a family, we can tell them apart as soon as we see them. You know, just by how they hold their face. And they got very different demeanors. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like for me, I you know, I always wanted to make this movie very personal. I wanted to explore dichotomy. You know, like for instance, the dichotomy between the church and the blues. You know, I thought it'd be great to explore that. The other thing to it is like, you know, we have African American people. African people got a very interesting relationship with the concept of twins. Yeah, you know, there are twin deities in the Yoruba religion. You know, and West Africans over-index in the birth of fraternal twins. You know, however, identical twins is something that science still can't explain. You know, they still don't know why the fertilized egg decides to split and replicate. You know, it's not something that's handed down genetically. And what I also found, like in some of my travels playing ball, and you know, it's almost like every neighborhood got a set of twins in it. That's like, and they usually like they like hood twins. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew several sets in the Bay. It's some very well known ones from Berkeley, like that they coach now, and but you could go to Berkeley and ask anybody on the corner, hey, bro, when the last time you seen the twins? They'll be like, oh, I just seen one of them over here and over there. And usually they are called twin because you can't tell them apart, you know, and that's found its way into our slang today. You know what I'm saying? Like kids calling each other twin, you know, it's from that. And I grew up, man, and you think about that Warren G song, bro. Like it's kind of easy when you listen to the G Dub sound. His last line in that song, I still know how to make them ends. You don't believe me? Go ask the twins. You know, you're talking about a group of twins from Long Beach. You know what I'm saying? Like that certified cats. Like, man, if you checking my rep, man, check in with them. You know what I'm saying? And that concept for me was something I was really interested in, and I wanted to explore that dynamic. So when Mike said yes to it, you know, we got a lot of technology together, incredible visual effects department. Run by Michael Roller, is my visual effects supervisor, and James Alexander, my visual effects producer. We developed a lot of really, really cool technology. It's basically like old school split screen technology, but you know, with much more advanced camera systems and effects that we have today in 2025. But it all starts and ends with Mike's performance, bro.
Yeah, he killed it.
Like
man.
it's all his
Give
performance.
it up for Michael B, man. I know he said it's probably the most fun he's made in a movie, right? The most fun he's had in a movie, and this is a horror flick. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like,
we had a ball, bro.
Yeah. Wow, man. I'm going to let Tracy and Mike Muse over in New York. Tracy, you want to jump in?
Oh, my gosh. Do I? Mr. freaking Coogler, bruh. You are extraordinary. Storyteller, historian, like Sway said, behind the camera, directing, but then also being on air with us. I'm very, very grateful for your presence. And Mike and I, before you walked into the room, we were both just kind of debriefing and giving each other our different synopses of the film because we loved it. And especially us getting into these conversations around music. And I often think about how music is a tool for seduction. We've heard it in multiple areas of history. You know, when you think about Greek mythology and how the sirens would lure the sailors, right, with their voices. We think about how Lucifer was the most talented musician in heaven before his fall from grace. You know, like even in Hinduism, there's a goddess, I can't recall her name, but she's the goddess of music and wisdom, and she quite literally and figuratively brings harmony to the world. And we as humans presently, like, we experience this full spectrum of moods that music can create and enhance, right? For better and for worse. And because you're such a music lover, appreciator, connoisseur, as well as being a filmmaker, I just need to know your take. Ryan Coogler, what do you think has more influence on our subconscious, music or film?
On our subconscious? I would say probably film. Yeah, I would say probably film on the subconscious, music on the conscious. Yeah.
Can you share more on why?
I think it's the combination of all of the mediums. You know what I'm saying? Like music, unless you're seeing somebody perform live, music is just hitting one sense. It's just hitting your ears, your hearing. You know what I'm saying? And film is hitting two very powerful senses. You know, your hearing and your sight. And I think that because it's giving you more, it's more likely to overpower you and you're going to miss something that then your subconscious will work to try to break down and unpack, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think the power of music is that it's so immediate. You know what I mean? And that's why people use it like in such a utilitarian style. You know what I'm saying? Like people will use music to pump themselves up for a game or use music to get themselves in a romantic mood. You know, or use music to get yourself in get yourself in an artistic mode or get yourself into an intellectual mode. It's immediate. You know what I'm saying? Like I put on Fast Car right now. You know, some of these people in here are gonna start crying immediately. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, if I put on, 15, boom. Don't do it to me. Hey, don't do it to me, man.
It's all right. Cry, Ryan.
Don't do it to me, man. But you know, like a movie. You know, you might. I've seen movies, man, in thought coming out of the theater, man. I don't know if I like that one, and I go home and I dream about it. You know what I'm saying? I wake up the next day and I'm thinking about it. You know, and I'll sleep on it, wake up the next morning and say, man, I actually like that. That's my subconscious breaking it. You know what I'm saying? Breaking it down. So I would say movies for the subconscious, maybe.
All right, man.
Love that.
Great question, great answer, Mike Muse.
Hey, Ryan. Good to see you, my brother.
Man, likewise, bro.
As I said before, I know you made a lot of great films, right? But I'm going to go on record again and say this film is my favorite film of yours. I think because of what it is and the details that it is, I think it shows the peakness of your directorial ability. So I just wanted to salute, and your writing abilities. I just wanted to salute you for making this film. It is my personal favorite. With that being said,
right on, Mike.
Yeah, with that being said, I'm curious about, and kind of going along with Tracy G was talking about in terms of film, in terms of music, I love the anthropology that you gave us about blues and the evolution of it. I'm just curious about, and not to give any spoilers away, but there was a moment when you used rock music. And I'm very curious of directorial choice of the use of rock for that particular scene and what you were trying to communicate.
It's a great question, bro. So in 20, I'm gonna be real quick with it too, because I know we probably running a long time, but in 2021, November 2021, I was listening to a lot of Young Dolph. I was in Byron, Georgia. Saw my first cotton farm there. And was working on Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And I got the news that Dolph had been murdered. And I was kind of venting to my producer, Nate Moore, who's also a black man, but from a different culture. He's from Clovis, California.
Okay.
Grew up listening to rock music and not a rap guy, I remember I had to explain to him who some of the artists was on that first Black Panther soundtrack.
He didn't know?
He didn't know some of them.
Okay.
Yeah. He knew Kendrick, but
Okay.
a few of them he was like, man, who is this? I'm like, had to run him down. Cause that's not the music he was raised with, right? And I was venting to him, man, cause I've been through, Sway, bro, you know more than me, bro, but I've been through the feeling of listening to somebody loving what they talking about and them talking about their lives and what they trying to escape and having them be murdered.
Yeah.
So many times, bro. Being from the Bay with Seagram and Pac and Jacka, you know what I'm saying? Mac Dre, obviously.
All of it,
you know what I'm saying?
man.
Johnny Cash. And a lot of cats who I grew up with who maybe I never heard of that rapped and lost their life. You know what I mean? And I was kind of sick of it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just went through it with Nip right after we brought out the first Black Panther, you know what I'm saying? And with Dolph, I said, man, what music is like this, man? Where somebody bears their soul and all of their struggles and gains financial success, and you think they made it out, and then boom, it still happens to them. And he said, well, my music's like that. I said, man, what music is that? He said, grunge music. I say, huh? And he said, yeah, man, like he's like, we lose those artists every day. He said, man, Chris Cornell just passed away in a hotel room the other day. He's in his 50s. This the leader of Soundgarden. You know what I'm saying? And when he said that, bro, it hit me differently.
Cobain.
That's what. So now coming up, listening to 106 KML,
Yeah.
right? That was the only rock song that broke the 7 o'clock drop, if you remember.
Yeah.
Smells Like Teen
Teen
Spirit.
Spirit. Yeah.
It was on the
Dude
7 o'clock
said the
drop.
7 o'clock
Bro,
drop.
it was on
A real one.
Bro, I'm really from. All right, bro.
I'm really from there, Sway.
Look, that was a big deal. So grunge was really my first introduction to, to rock through that song. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I took a break from rap for a little bit and went back to grunge music. That's how I'm gonna do a deep dive on this grunge.
Oh wow.
And as soon as I turned it on, man, I said, man, this remind me of the blues I used to listen to with my uncle James, rest in peace. They singing about their life. I recognize the guitar riffs. So I recognize some of the vocal things they doing. I'm hearing harmonicas in it and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I did a study on it. Like I Googled it at home. You know what I'm saying? After and music colleges will tell you legitimately that grunge music is white people from Seattle singing blues. Like that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my composer Ludwig Göransson, is a guitarist by trade before he became a film composer, and he's from Linköping, Sweden. You know what I'm saying? Like thousands of miles from the Mississippi Delta, but because it was so racist, at the time when Holland Wolf and those guys were getting took on tour, by the British bands, they took them to Europe first. You know what I'm saying? And my composer's father, who's in his 70s now, saw those guys when he was a teenager, and said, I want to be like that.
Wow.
Made himself a blues guitarist, had a son and trained his son from 5 years old how to play blues music. Now look, Ludwig when he was a kid was learning blues music, but it wasn't for him. It was his daddy's music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then he heard Metallica, and he said, "Oh yeah, this for me." And started learning. Fell in love with Metallica. So me and Ludwig meet up in like 2008. Me from Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Him from Sweden, you know what I mean? And we kicking it, you feel me? Exchanging music. I'm playing him 3 times crazy. He playing me Metallica and Adam Tensta, who a Swedish rapper, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That was how our friendship started. But for me, it only made sense for the movie to be what it was about, for when it goes when a movie goes where it goes, you know what I'm saying? For you to hear the blues music in that style too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing,
Damn,
man. Great
bro.
question, Mike, and
Yeah.
thank you. Ryan
Thanks, Ryan.
Coogler is here, man. And I know you got to go. I'll be remiss. I always like to take at least one caller,
Yeah.
bro. I got to let a
Yeah.
caller get in, man.
Let's
We
do it.
got
Yeah.
Jerry from Florida. Quick question. Go for it. What is it?
What's up, Jerry?
Hi, how you doing, guys?
Hey.
Great.
In the morning cruise. It's my first time caller.
First
time
time
caller. Give it to him, Ryan.
Thank you, guys. I
Yo,
learned so much
welcome
from
to the
you,
Cypher. All
and I
right.
really appreciate it.
All right. Go for it. What's your question?
Mr. Coogler, appreciate your work. I'm a Haitian, and I'd like to know, and I'm curious about why would you put T'Challa's son's name Toussaint and where he was born in Cap Haitian in Haiti? I'd like you to debunk this mystery for us, for the Haitian community.
Wow, man. I don't think it's really a mystery for y'all, bro. Like I think y'all know.
Yeah.
You know, like you guys, y'all history of being the first community of enslaved Africans to win a war against their oppressor. And what happened? What was done to y'all since then? You know, the massive injustices that were done in response to that, and how much that affected, you know, where we from. If you're looking at the Louisiana Purchase and all of that, like it only made sense for the character of Nakia to go there in our fictional world, and it only made sense for her to give you know, her son who was a descendant of this great leader, for her to give him that Haitian name.
Jerry, great question, man. Sapase, man. We appreciate you. You're a super citizen, brother.
Sway in the morning.
Thank you, guys,
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Absolutely, man. How does that work? I know with Avengers Doomsday, the Russo brothers are doing that, and I know they're gonna have a lot of Wakanians on that. Do they consult you for that, or
I mean,
with the storylines, or
yeah, bro. Like it'll be
the Russo brothers?
Yeah. Joe and Anthony, they good dudes, man, and they tap in. You know, like I was able to consult on T'Challa in Civil War, and I was able to consult on Wakanda in Infinity War as well. You know, so yeah, they really good dudes, man, really respectful, but they you know they got their own thing going, and it's been incredibly successful, and I'm always honored when they reach out.
Okay. Hey,
They
listen,
were
man.
guests here. Remember, Sway? They came through here.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Russo brothers like to hang out with us, man.
Yeah, they out of Cleveland, man. Good dudes,
man.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm super proud of you,
Yeah,
brother.
man.
And I'm glad
Hell
we
yeah.
always tap in, man. Whenever you're doing anything, I don't care, big or small, and everywhere in between, we are here for you.
Yeah.
This is your platform, man. You set the 7 o'clock drop.
And that just took you.
Yeah, because you know.
You got, if you know, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we built KMEL in the 90s. So
yeah,
when you
I remember when y'all shut the station down after Pac got murdered, and it was big too.
Yeah.
I shut the station down. It was a heartbeat for like a day or something.
Yeah, for 24 hours we
Yeah,
did that, man.
yeah.
And then we ran the Pac interview we did.
Yeah.
You wanna-
No, I just want to commend you, Ryan, for working with your wife as well. I think that's beautiful.
I need her. It ain't altruistic.
He's here. Zenzi is here, too,
No,
man.
I just think it is. It's really beautiful, and for you to say that, like I need her. I think.
No, Mike Muse. He said it's my best work, man. It's the one she had her hand in
Right.
full time, bro. Like I don't think that's a coincidence, man. She the smartest person I know.
Amen.
And she knows me better than I know myself at this point. After over 20 years of rocking with each other. So I mean, I couldn't do any of this. I couldn't do any of this without her.
No, I think it's just beautiful. We talk about marriage. I mean, I'm married, and we speak about that a lot and the importance of that. And I think it takes a special God-given relationship to be able to not just live with your soul partner and your life partner, but to be able to work together as well and do beautiful work and feed the community. So salute to you both. Seriously, it's beautiful to see and hear. That's all I wanted to add.
All right, on.
Well, hey, Zenzi, you might be on camera. I'm sorry.
Oh, Sway, leave people alone. She said I gave sis my word. I ain't backing up.
You blocking the camera, Heather. You're blocking the lens, Heather.
She asked me first. She was like, "Am I gonna be on camera?" I was like, "No." She said,
East
"Good."
Oakland. What part of East Oakland?
She out of Fruitville, bro.
Fruitville?
Yeah.
Yo, I went to Manzanita. I used to hang out at Sanborn Park over there underneath Foothill, and then I used to practice at Fruitville. What's that? Fruitville Junior High when I played for the Oakland Dynamites.
You play for the Dynamites?
Play for the Dynamites.
I play for the Cougars.
Yeah, we used to run through. Berkeley Cougars. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yo, love you.
You used for this. You ran through.
Yep, always. See, somebody here
bro.
finally to debunk your sports stories.
I can't tell you what was happening then. Like we used to have battles with the Dynamites. My daddy played for the Dynamites.
Oh yeah,
so it's all
G. Yeah.
Yeah, the purple. They turned to the Oakland Warriors and Giannis and them. Brandon Sanders. No, actually, Brandon Sanders played for the Saints. Actually,
yeah, you had the San Leandro. You had me.
Murph played for the me.
Not
me. You used to bring up the Crusaders.
Yeah, man.
You used to bring up the Crusaders.
This all Pop Warner League football, but
got it.
But shout out to my homie Cyrus.
Yeah, man.
He was a Crusaders legend.
Okay.
Yeah, but I play with them big dogs, bro. With them Cougars, bro.
Yeah, y'all.
Quinton Ganter, Treston George, Ramon. The Cherries.
Yeah. Yeah, that was after me, man.
Yeah.
After we built the league, you guys got
wow,
to
Sway. There you go.
All right. Hey, Ryan, we love you, brother.
Yes.
We want you to go see this movie, April 18th. Man, go see it. It's incredible. Haley Steinfeld did her thing.
Haley, yep.
Jack O'Connell did his thing. Yeah. Michael B. Jordan.
Of course.
Wonderfully shot, beautifully done. And I want
cinematographer from the Bay, too.
For real?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's from Danville.
From Danville.
Yeah.
Wow.
All them Arkansas.
Everybody around you is Bay born, Heather. That's why I say we are the center of the universe for creativity.
We're reminded every day, Ryan.
Right. I apologize for y'all.
Man, you ain't got to. Stand up, thump your chest, homie. Ryan Coogler, man. Give it up for Ryan Coogler.
April 18th, y'all, in 10 select theaters to get that beautiful visual as well, correct?
IMAX. On IMAX. Go see it in IMAX, but go see it. Just go see it. You know what I mean? However you can do it.
Go see it, man. We're going to support it.